Some of the fastest athletes in Australia play in the NRL, with some positions naturally demanding a faster player. This video goes over the fastest player from every position. But quickly, I just want to clarify the way I'm structuring the video. It's similar to my highest paid player from every position video. I will cover all 13 starting positions, also including 4 interchange spots. As for the positions that have multiple spots on the field, such as centers or props, I'll be picking the top 2 fastest players from those positions, also including the top 4 fastest bench players, so we can cover a full 17-man roster. And once again, if a player is known to play multiple positions, they'll be put under the position they have played in most games for this season. Now that's out of the way, let's start with the fullback. And we have for the Dolphins, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. The Hammer is closely followed by other blistering fullbacks in the competition, mainly this year's standout fullback in Kyo Weeks, but he still remains the top spot for the fastest fullback in my opinion. The Hammer burst onto the scene in 2020 for the Cowboys and immediately made a name for himself for his agility and speed. The Hammer signed with the Dolphins in 2023 in the club's entry season to the NRL. The Hammer is another versatile player and can play in the centres, at fullback, or even out on the wing. The 23-year-old has also played representatively for Queensland, the Indigenous All-Stars, Samoa, the Prime Minister's 13, and Australia. Now for our first winger. For the Knights, we have Dominic Young. The English international made a name for himself when joining the Knights in 2021 and made a massive impact with his size and speed. He made a move to the Roosters at the start of 2024 and is due to play the rest of the season at the Knights, as he just moved back to the club in the middle of this season. Young debuted in the Super League for the Huddersfield Giants and played 2 first-grade games for the club before coming to Australia. Next, for our other winger, we have Jason Saab. Saab made his debut for the Dragons in 2019 and has played a total of 7 games for the club over a 2-year period. He'll be picked up by Manly in 2021 and now has almost played 100 NRL games. This flying winger is up there as one of the fastest players in the competition and certainly has blistering pace. There's a bunch of players I could have mentioned for the fullback or the winger spots, but these are my standout players. Now moving on to the centres, with our first one being Casey McLean. This young speedster is only 19 years old and made his debut for the Panthers in 2024. He played the start of the season out on the wing, but the majority of his time has been played out in the centre position and can fit either role very well. He's also played on the international stage for New Zealand. As for the other centre, it's Valentine Holmes. The Queensland and Australian representative is a veteran of the game, debuting for the Sharks in 2014. Despite a small stint trying to make it in the NFL, he's been a regular first-grade centre with the ability to play on the wing, in the centres, or even at fullback. His speed is his main weapon, but his footwork, support play, and overall vision of the game is what makes him such a great athlete. Also, he's got a great boot for securing those conversions. Now moving on to the halves, starting with the 5'8", and it's Fletcher Sharp for the Knights. Sharp is a versatile young gun who is only 21 years old and has spent years in the juniors of the Knights. He can play fullback, 5'8", or even out on the wing. He made his first grade debut in 2024 for the Knights and became a must-have in the starting lineup due to his speed and footwork. He's a natural fullback in my opinion, but he's played the majority of this season for the Knights in the 5'8" position, just to get him onto the field. Next, for our fastest halfback, we have Mitchell Moses for the Eels. The 30-year-old halfback made his debut for the Tigers in 2014 and would move to the Parramatta Eels in 2017. He's the Eels' main man, but goes through his rough periods of injuries. Many are saying he was missed in the 3rd game of the Origin series this year, and I agree. Things might have been different if he was in the side. He has played 231 NRL games and has represented the Prime Minister's 13, Lebanon, Australia, the New South Wales Blues, and even the World All-Stars on several occasions. Now for our 2 props, with the first one being Fanua Pole for the Tigers. The young prop is 23 years old and is a beast on the field. He made his first grade debut in 2022 for the West Tigers and has remained a consistent first grade pick for the side ever since. In 2022, he even earned himself the Tigers Rookie of the Year. As for the other prop forward, it's Toby Kaufman. The 21-year-old front rower for the Dragons made his debut for the club in 2023 and is a good mover for a big man. In his debut year, he played a total of 15 games for the club, then played the following year in 2024, only playing in 11 games, and he's now been a regular pick in this year's season. Additionally, at the end of last season, him and his twin brother Ryan Kaufman have resigned with the Dragons for a 3-year deal. Now for the hookers, with the fastest being Damien Cook. Damien Cook is now a veteran of the game, who is 34 years old and made his debut for the Dragons in 2013. The former beach sprinter has been a staple in the NRL for many years now. After only playing 2 games in his debut year, he signed with the Bulldogs and played with them for 2 seasons until 2016, when he was then picked up by the Bunnies, where he played the majority of his first grade career. The former New South Wales representative has played several games for his state and country over the years. Now moving on to our second rowers, and there's Haumole Olakau'atu. The Manly second rower made his debut for the club in 2019 and has stayed at Manly his entire first grade career, playing in over 100 NRL games. He's also represented Tonga on the international stage on 6 occasions. As for our other second rower, for the New Zealand Warriors, we have Leka Halasima. The 19-year-old young gun debuted for the Warriors last year in 2024 and only played 4 first grade games in his debut year. Then this year in 2025, he's played 15 games and found a regular spot in the first grade side. This speedy big man has quite the career ahead of him. Now rounding out the starting side, in the lock position, we have Reuben Cotter. The Cowboys lock forward debuted for the club in 2019 and quite quickly made an impression. He's a versatile player, playing as lock, second row, hooker, or even a prop, all forward positions. He's quick off the mark and can carve up the defensive line. Now moving on to the bench players. To start with, we have Jacob Little. The Dragons utility player injects himself into the game with his pace when subbed onto the field. He debuted for the Tigers in 2016 and would play for the club until 2023, where he would be picked up by the Dragons, where he now plays. Next up, for the Roosters, we have Spencer Leniu. Leniu is named here purely for his short distance burst runs. They're quick, strong and effective. Spencer debuted for the Panthers back in 2019 and would move to the Roosters in 2024, where he currently plays. He's one of the best impact players in the game and brings his ability onto the Origin arena, playing for the New South Wales Blues. The next bench player for the Knights is Jayden Brailey. Jayden debuted for the Sharks in 2017 and played 69 games for the club over a 3-year period. He would then sign and move to the Knights in 2020 and has played with the club ever since. He's had a rough run with injuries over the last few years and is off to play with the Canberra Raiders next season. And for our final bench player, we have Kurt Mann. This versatile interchange has played a number of positions over his time in the NRL, including centre, 5'8", lock, and out on the wing. He debuted for the Storm back in 2014, then moved to the Dragons in 2016, and then to the Knights in 2019. But at the start of 2024, he'd be picked up by the Bulldogs, where he currently plays at Clubland. He also made his debut in the Origin arena for Queensland at the age of 32. And that's the fastest player from every position in the NRL. Which players do you agree or disagree with? And if you disagree, let me know who you think should take their place in the comments below. Thanks for watching.